Hello and welcome. I'm Karishma Sudani, and with me today is Sumit Gupta, the co-founder and CEO of one of India's hottest and also the first unicorn cryptocurrency startups, CoinDCX. Welcome to the show, Sumit.
Thank you, Karishma, for inviting me.
Now, let me begin by asking you, Sumit, given that the work on a legal framework for cryptocurrencies is underway, what would be an ideal approach for the government to consider?
Sure. I think first of all, this is a very positive and welcome move by the government of India, was pending since long. And we, as one of the industry participants, were trying to have this discussion with the government and policy makers so that we are trying to bridge the gap in terms of how to regulate crypto best as an asset class. And I think after several discussions, there has been more clarity in the government around crypto as an emerging asset class, and the thought of moving away from banning crypto and in fact positioning India as a very strong nation when it comes to fintech innovation. I think that's going to take India far ahead than other countries and position India as one of the leading blockchain and crypto hub in the global landscape. In terms of the regulatory framework, I think all of the investors or all of the regulators work in the direction of investor protection. So I think the approach should be to understand the space, work closely with the industry players, players like us or other exchanges, and then figure out, okay, what is the best framework so that we can protect customers, we can protect investors, and we can also lay out guidelines which is not restricting the industry and create a conducive environment which is going to promote innovation happening in this space. I think that is very much needed so that we eliminate the bad actors out of the system and allow legit players to operate with full transparency, full public disclosures, so that the government can charge due taxes or they ensure that all the laws of the land are being followed.
Right, you just mentioned about the banning part. Now from 2018, when a draft bill was proposed to ban cryptocurrencies, to now that we're talking about recently, when government officials have indicated that a ban may not be feasible, do you think there has been a shift that you have noticed in the thinking of the decision makers?
Absolutely. There's a clear shift in terms of how government was thinking about it earlier. And a lot of it is driven by a lot of positive movements that are happening outside India. A lot of progressive nations have adopted crypto. They have understood that it's very difficult to ban a technology. In fact, instead of fighting against technology, it's very important to regulate, understand, and ensure that investors are protected. So I think that has been the driving factor. And also, it's not a very easy technology to understand. It takes a lot of time and investment to understand what's happening globally, and then how it can work in the favor of the nation, right? So that has took some time, but I think clearly, for example, earlier, crypto was seen more as a payment system, but it is actually not. It is not a currency. It's more like an asset class that a government should think of it, and that's how it has been evolving in other countries as well. So with that sense, I think a lot of that confusion which was earlier there, now it has gone away, and government is more open to the idea of adopting crypto, and that is clearly seen from the traction that players like CoinDCX have seen. Many millions of investors who are keen to learn more about it, and they're just waiting on the fence, waiting to get a nod from the government side. Is it okay? As of now, there has been a lot of positive movement, but earlier it was a lot of confusion around crypto, whether it is legal to buy, sell. Post the Supreme Court judgment, again, there has been a lot of positive movement in this front, and now I think from now on it's just gonna go positive from here, because government is now trying to understand and seeing what is the best possible way so that India does not leave behind in the race, but also becomes one of the leading players globally. We have got 45 million people who are associated with the IT industry, developers, engineers. Even if like 5% of them adopt this technology, India is going to be a global hub when it comes to blockchain and crypto revolution.
Taking that forward, where you're saying India is going to be the global hub, what is the current global framework on cryptocurrencies that is most relevant for India to consider?
I think India should not think of this as a currency, because it is currently not being used as part of payment system. But if anyone wants to invest into Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of these crypto assets, they should be allowed to do that, just like how people invest in gold, silver, right? Just like how we treat commodities. A similar framework can be applied there. India should charge proper taxes so that government revenues can also go up. There's a huge revenue potential for the government. Many of these investors have gotten significant profits from crypto investing. government should lay out a clear tax guidelines so that all of that tax goes to the government, and government has this another revenue stream to collect taxes, from this industry.
Right. Now, should India treat cryptocurrencies as an asset class? I know you mentioned this in your last answer, but more to talk about that.
Yes, I feel India should strongly consider this as an asset class, because I think one is this industry is very rapidly evolving, right? We have not seen any major use case of crypto as part. I think what government is doing in terms of CBDC, that is definitely a great step. Government should continue focusing on that, which is a digital rupee pegged to INR. But this is more like a asset class which Indian would want to invest in, so that as more and more adoption is happening, India does not leave behind. I think the approach of treating crypto as an asset class is the right way forward, in my opinion.
Right. What safeguards would you propose to be introduced in the law?
Can you repeat, please?
Now, what safeguards do you think the government should be looking forward to propose in the law? What are the kind of aspects that should be included?
Sure. So to highlight some of the points here, I think all the exchanges, right, are self-regulated. We follow all the guidelines, KYC, AML guidelines. So I think one is to work with the industry players to set up properly laid out guidelines and regulate exchanges. Once exchanges are regulated, you can control 95% plus of the activities. There is full transparency. All of the data that whatever amount people are trading in, all of that can be government have access to. And that will add a lot to transparency. People will pay taxes on whatever activity they are doing. I think this is the first step. Again, this is not a very easy thing to do. It should be a phase-wise approach. First, regulate the exchanges and work with them in terms of building a regulatory framework, and then build the ecosystem around it. Because I think that regulating exchanges, that is where the buying and selling of cryptos happen, and then you can go deeper from there.
Right. There's a lot of debate about who should regulate it. So, who do you think should regulate cryptocurrencies in India? Should it be the RBI? Should it be the SEBI? Or should it have some elements of, self-regulation?
I think because crypto is such a fast-growing industry, and it's very difficult to put a hard, boundaries around it. If you do it, then the innovation will hamper. So I think the right way to approach this is to have a very fluid framework, and which works in the direction of consumer protection, and then lay out specific guidelines. Okay, ring fence players operating in this space. Any bad actors should not be a part of the ecosystem. All the players who are essentially a part of this should be under government eyesight, so that only the legit players are operating in the country, and they are following all the guidelines to ensure that investor money is protected. That plus, because it is ever evolving, it's important to keep it fluid also. You can't just solve for all the problems today, because the space is also evolving globally. For example, there's a travel rule that will determine, okay, where the crypto is going from, like the source as well as the destination. You can track all of that, just like how it happens in the bank transactions. So if you are able to work closely with the players, I think all of those questions can be answered, and India will continue to innovate without putting any harsh restrictions. Because the moment you start doing that early on, then it will hurt the innovation. So it's a gradual step, taking it one step at a time, work closely with the industry, solve whatever concerns that the government has, and then make sure that we create a conducive environment for crypto players or blockchain protocols to emerge and grow in the country.
Sumit, do you think that the government should undertake a public consultations before finalizing the law?
Absolutely. I think public consultation should be there, because there are 15 million investors who have invested. There are 500 plus startups. There are lakhs of people who are directly or indirectly associated with the industry. And this industry is hiring aggressively. Billions of dollars are coming in. And like another $1 billion lying outside who are waiting to enter into India just in this space alone. So massive opportunity. I think the government should do a public consultation, or at least industry consultation, because that has not happened in the past, right? And right now, industry is trying to reach out to the government and having that discussion. I think that should happen proactively on a common public forum, so that we take the right steps, right? The objective is the same. We would want to do things which benefits the nation. I think that sort of public consultation or industry consultation is definitely going to lead us to build a robust regulatory framework which benefits the industry a lot.
Right. Now, Sumit, finally, before I let you go, explain us the phenomenon of NFTs. Now, you were seeing also the Bollywood stars have started to issue them, and that's become quite newsworthy when we're talking about the user interest.
Definitely, I think there's a whole new creator economy that is being created, and a lot of these people realize the importance of their network, and they have got these creativity in them, and like with NFT in place, all of these whether it's Bollywood stars or artists out there, they would want to showcase, and there's no broker in between. So there are various
Right.
use cases. I think an NFT, and again, it's going through various ups and downs. It will have its own cycles, but shortly, if you look at it the long term, it's going to open up a whole lot new economy built on top of blockchain. Because earlier, like blockchain decentralized things, right? But in creator economy, in this creativity field, I think there have been various brokers. Now you can just eliminate all of that, and it just gives a whole new paradigm for these new artists, and builds a new economy leveraging blockchain technology. So in the long term, definitely bullish about it. And India is already seeing a lot of traction. Again, not just India, but globally. But if we want like spaces like DeFi, NFT, even like crypto investing, all of that to prosper, I think the clearly laid out regulatory framework is a must, because when that happens, you will have this economy growing way faster, right? And it just supports the ecosystem. You will have a lot of these companies created within India, which otherwise will just move base outside the country. There will be then that happen, and it's not a good outcome for the nation, I would say.
Thank you so much, Sumit. Of course, there's a lot to talk more, but I will have to let you go because we see that now crypto is on the road towards the regulation, and I think in less than 4 to 5 months, we're going to learn something on that. Thank you, Sumit, for joining us.
Thank you.